Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. You're watching Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga and we're reaching you live from Plus TV Africa in Victoria Island, Lagos. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting area of sports. And I'm talking about sports medicine. It's an area, it's a huge area, but it's still untapped in Nigeria. Today we're going to be talking to somebody who is already playing in the field and would be able to tell us, give us some insights into what's going on, what the status of the industry is, and what they're doing themselves, and where we hope to go from here. Sports is growing, and as we see on this program every time, sports is big business. And the young man in the studio with me is already playing, and again, I'm especially happy because he's a very young person, and we want more young Nigerians to get in the field. I'm speaking of Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Sports Assist and Citron Health. Okay, they are sports medical professionals in Nigeria. It's a strange field, I told you, but they're there already and they're getting things done. So I'm going to call Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere to basically welcome him to the program. Hello Emmanuel, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Nice to be here.
Good. As we do on this program, Emmanuel, we're going to give the viewers about a very short break, maybe like 30 seconds, 1 minute, so that they can, get ready for us. Maybe grab a drink of water, invite a friend or two to join us, because what we're talking about is a new field, and you never know what we're going to say today could impact one or two of them, and probably open up a new business idea for them. All right. So we'll give that short break. It's a tradition of the program, and when we return, the business begins. You're welcome back to the program, Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga, and you're watching Plus TV Africa. We're reaching you live from our studios in Victoria Island, Lagos. With me in the studio today to talk about sports medicine is Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere. He's the COO of Sports Assist and Citron Health. Hello, Emmanuel, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, we're happy to have you on the program.
Same here.
Like I said earlier in the intro, a young man, getting things done, and that's a good thing. That's always a good thing, because then we can see the future of the industry. All right. So we're talking about sports medicine today, and we'll talk about what you guys do. But first, I think it's best for us to have a sense of what sports medicine really entails.
Okay. So thank you very much. Sports medicine is the relationship between the physical activity that someone engages in as an athlete, professional or amateur, in relation to their health. Now, this involves the prevention, emphasis on prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and the possible treatment and the possible maybe procedures or maneuvers that can be given to anybody that engage in sports and maybe that have injuries. So in relation to their injuries, some might not necessarily have injuries, some might be for optimization. So we can break down sports medicine into the aspect of the health itself. So prevention, treatment, diagnosis, treatment, and attending to those injuries. And we can also go to the optimization of the players or the athletes. So there's a developmental phase of sports medicine. There's a developmental angle, and there's also the I want to treat you, I want to prevent you from having those issues. There might be an overlap between the two sectors, like between the two parts, right? But the major thing is that it is a very proactive angle. You come from a proactive angle. You are having a lot of projections, and you are trying to ensure that before anything happens to any athlete or any professional, any footballer, any basketballer, you already have envisioned it and you have prevented it. Also, in relation to what they take in, because whatever they take in goes a long way in the role that it plays on their body. So you help them understand how they can manage their body, beyond just because the body of an athlete is different from the body of someone that is stays in the office. Only if the person is also an athlete, right? No stigma, nothing. But if you do a sedentary lifestyle, you just sit in the office, you work, go home, rest, maybe take one breaks working in the evening. It's different from someone that wakes up in the morning, is heading to the gym, his itinerary for the day is just based around his physical activities that he does on the field of play, or the field of play represents a whole lot of, I use that to cover the whole sports that people might be engaged in. So I think that's just like a brief summary of what sports medicine entails.
You know, when I think about sports medicine, what comes to my head is there's a game that's being played.
Yeah.
Somebody gets injured.
Yeah.
And then we need, some sort of emergency rescue and stuff like that. You're saying there's so much more to sports.
Yes, so much more. Beyond the that emergency, everybody's mindset is emergency.
Yeah.
And emergency is just a phase, it's just a part. What happens before the emergency? Can I come from an angle of whereby I can solve the problem before the emergency? That is what we are trying to talk about. And that's why we at Sport Assist.
Give an example of that.
Okay, so I'll use permit me to mention names and competitions that we've been able to manage. I'll use example of the first edition of Lagos Liga. Lagos Liga is a private-owned competition, football competition that happened, and I enjoyed the slogan, which is "We all play," right? And the beauty of it is that before they started the competition itself, there was a fitness test that was mandatory for all players. From the fitness test, we were able to tell players and address them individually. With people that maybe that might have high blood pressure, we were able to tell them that, see, yes, you're an athlete. There's a tendency that there might be a little bit of increase in the way your heart performs because you have been able to build your cardio for stamina over time. But this is tilting towards the extremes. So for people that had a lot of extremes and their old age, we disqualify them from playing. So this helps the competition because instead of someone just while playing, someone slumps and pass out or die, we have been able to eliminate, reduce that risks, remove it from our pre-fitness test. Beyond just that, we also do ECG to check the state of the heart for some of these players. For people that maybe have many injuries, we also do like a musculoskeletal examination whereby we want to be sure that these people are good, they're in the best frame, best position to play. So after we did all of this, we sent it to the league commissioner, the technical team of Lagos Liga, and everybody was given that permit to go ahead, and we didn't record any form of risk or any form of death or any form of emergency while the game was going on. Only maybe on-field injuries, which also happens because it's a contact sport. Yeah.
Okay, so that's very interesting to hear. The thing is, there's Lagos Liga that you have mentioned, and we all know that was I saw that was some sort of that was a new development in Nigerian football, Nigerian sports. Yeah, but is that the average? Is that the average? How do I put it? Is it
management?
No. Is it the average? Does it happen on a regular basis? Do you get other sports organizers to work with to call in?
So we manage end-to-end for Inter-Lagos FC.
Inter-Lagos.
Yes, and
that's an NNL club.
Yes, that's an NNL club, a privately owned NNL club by Larry Figo, and is an amazing team. And the beauty of it is that we manage end-to-end. When we started managing the team, we observed some what do you call it, diet, because the players maybe don't have a full understanding of the diet set. And so one of the things that we did and worked around was the diet. We worked directly with them, with our dietitian, and we were able to say, okay, see, this is where we are looking at. This is the tendency of what players should drop by in the camp, where we had like direct conversations with the chef, train the chef on, okay, this is
really?
Yes, so it is beyond. So if I say, I'm a sports medicine company, a lot of people just feel it's a surface level thing. What you eat forms one of the majority on how your body will perform on the field of play, right? And I don't want to talk about just football alone, right? If we do Lagos polo, we do a basketball, there's frisbee, we do flag football, and these are just the things that we tell people, right? But we also understand that there's a constraint, which is the financial constraint. People don't want to go full blown on managing the teams the way they should be managed. A team should be managed where you have sports person. You should manage end to end, not just because I want to play football for 45 minutes or 1 hour, 30 minutes, and just make sure that there's the pre of a game is as important as during the game, and also as important as post the game, right? So what we try to preach, or the message we try to tell people, is that, and this is one of the projects that we are working on, that beyond the emergency response that everybody thinks on or everybody is fixated on, we talk about, maybe I already mentioned, is one of the ideas that we shared. We had enough time to discuss, even maybe add plans of submitting to the NSC through one of our communities, right, which is Booster. And it is to talk about every other thing apart from the field itself. Every other thing that is surrounding, just the field is, every player has, there's a level of, there's a way the body prepares, right? So there's a level of adrenaline that gets released when you want to play in a game. Okay. I don't know if I played football at some point, or I play football at local level, amateur level, and I know the mental preparation, what I'm trying to think about. So we need that, so that even though we offer psychological services whereby we can help people get into that state, but beyond that, the pre and the post are one of the most crucial parts, because you don't want someone to be a one-hit wonder. And that's where, if we look at into the lives of them, some of our mentors or people that we enjoy, we week in, week out, the likes of them, I don't want to say them Ronaldo, the Messi, let me even talk about some of the people that we have here, them Osimhen. For Osimhen to be delivering Ademola Lookman, Iwobi, for them to be delivering that high level, right? Or Asisat Oshola, Ajibade Rashidat.
You call your Lagos.
In my Lagos school, so my entire Lagos school, there's football, there's Otuke, there's what do you call him? I forgot some of their names, right? Yeah. So you have those guys.
I get what you're saying.
Yes. So for them to keep up that consistency week in, week out, right? It has to be a case of there must be a constant shape and where their body is, and that's why we have our physiotherapists on time, all of the trainings inter-Lagos.
And you do that with
all of the trainings,
all season,
all seasons, away games, home games, everywhere. We go with them everywhere, right? I'm just a phone call away. Anywhere you are in Nigeria, we offer the services because we understand that the peculiarities, right? And we're hopeful that maybe before the end of this, we should be able to get maybe contact with an NPFL team or any sports majorly. It's not only football, but we know that football is one of our most played games, and that's what we are using. But obviously, we're looking at angling, swimming, we're looking at angling, frisbee, anything that you. Thank God you're here. So let me put you on the spot. The Lagos Tennis Club. I'm putting you on the spot. I know that the Lagos Tennis Club. Yeah. And because we understand that it's not just the body has to be in 100% shape. If not 100, at least 95. Something close to 100. So in case there's anything, you are not just going to now go down. And one of the most painful things is when I remember the last Olympics. Yes, I think the last Olympics. One of a very good acquaintance that I know from a distance, Enoch, right? Enoch, it was a painful one because his hamstrings.
Okay.
I think maybe hamstrings. I'm not sure, but I think that's where it was touching, right? When the race started, and he could not pull through. But we know how defining that moment will be for him, right? I only pray that he gets that opportunity again to hit that target, because you know that the moment his body, his mind was in a good shape, but at the moment, just split seconds, the muscles gave up. And it's not even the case that he didn't prepare. So that's how crucial this pre and post and sports medicine is majorly.
Okay, so see, the thing is, how would you? The word I was looking for the last time was, is it the average occurrence to get sports organizers to call you to the events? But okay, so now, if you had to put like a certain percentage to it, that a sportsman needs to physically prepare. You go to the gym, do all of that. You need to have mental training. You have to have good diets. So how would you classify what makes a complete athlete? What percentage would you give to sports medicine, in relation to the physical training and the natural skills?
I'll give almost 60 to 70% to sports medicine.
Okay.
Because if you are mentally ready, when your body is feeling, we have seen likes of that, right? Just one single injury, you might never play up to your optimum. One of my very good people that I like, I'm really rooting for him, is Akim Onitulo. And Onitulo shares his own story. Like,
who's the?
Yeah, he's one of he's a professional footballer, but
in Nigeria.
Yeah, still trying to break through into the big teams, which I really pray he gets that big break. But he shares the story, because the truth is that I'm not going to come and speak highfalutin. I'm not going to come and tell you about them Ronaldo. I don't have the access to what Ronaldo is doing. I don't even think I have access to the facilities that he or the resources that he's using. Ronaldo has like a full company taking care of his body. Not one, not two, not three. Right? But Akim shared his story, and he was talking about when he had a knee injury. But one of the things I enjoy about Akim's process is that the way he shares his story about this was the right thing. So you know that there's a conscious effort, right? But 70% I give it to sports medicine, because the remaining 30%, or let me say maybe 60, let me use 60, because 60 I can do 60-50, because the other one now goes back to your training, how good you are, how you can read the game in various sports you are, how exceptionally your physicality and all of those things. So I give it, but physicality is still sports medicine. So it still takes a major chunk, right? Because as I always say it, the spirit is willing, but the body might fail you. So if your body is 100, even if the spirit might not be 100% willing, your body will make sure that it does the work.
I think this is really, really interesting. Because if you look at local athletes, for instance, you'd find that a lot of them don't even think in this way. They don't even think about sports medicine other than, look, I want to go and play. I have a swelling. I need something to, They don't think about how this sports medicine can enhance performance in a good way, because this is not doping. This is just the best way to feed your body, to exercise, the sort of exercises you can do, and stuff like that. So I think this is something that needs to come into Nigerian sports in a big way. I can see a big industry, a big future for the industry. But beyond Interlagos, for instance, have you had, like you said, football is our biggest sport. There are 20 teams in the NPFL. You can do business with the guys in Lagos. Lagos has over 10 clubs in the NNL and the NPFL. But you say you can do business if say for instance, Plateau United calls you guys up. Now you can do business.
I can do business. Distance is not a limitation for us, right?
But how do you intend to educate
people?
The industry, because that's very critical.
So in one of the plans that we submitted, when we were still at this, there was a meeting there was one sports conference that happened recently on the Highland, and we attended. We saw, because one of our mentors is Dr. Buki. Big shout out to Dr. Buki. He has been holding our hands, because coming out, we needed someone that we could also Dr. Buki, how is it going? Dr. Buki, I think he's the head of.
Is he a sports medical?
Yeah. In what they call it, I think he's one head in Lagos, whatever. Okay. So he's the one that has been really, really been so helpful to us. So one of the things that we do is that distance is not a problem, right? Distance is not a problem we offer, but the issue of that performance, and that's why we said our project about Booster is one of the things that, as at this time last week or 2 weeks ago, we started a company-wide meeting with our physiotherapists and like the food team to discuss like the tendency about how can we fly it, how can we pivot it, because the problem is that when you educate, you spend a lot of money educating. That's where the problem is, and the ROI is not immediate. And we are not at that level whereby we can push out a lot of resources for education and not get an ROI. And that's why if anybody is willing to invest, they are up for investment. There's no.
But instead, you're going to talk to the NSC.
Yes, but NSC is going to be a partnership, right? And it's still in the pipeline, right? We have not even pushed it to that level whereby we say, okay, maybe there's something coming out, right? And because of the country is big, so there's still a way of how do you want to fly it? How do you want to break this? Although one of the models we are looking at, the possible models, is the way the Minister of Communication did the 3MTT program. That's what we are trying to look at, like if it's possible to imitate that and see what we can do for grassroots sports. Because the major thing is that we are going to the grassroots, and if we are going to the grassroots, it has to be from each different tiers of government, right?
But
from
if local grassroots, how do you get funding?
So that funding, we're hoping that maybe we can get anything from government for that funding. For the maybe foreign investments, we're looking at maybe talent management, performance management, because we have people coming in from outside the country. Come and tell you the same thing that we tell people. People take courses because the hear that is from because they hear from outside country. I was still with the president of vice president of NOC, Tarawa State, that we discussed, because I'm the vice chairman for sports medicine for a federation, right, with under NOC. And these are
let's hang that for a moment.
Okay.
We need to take a short break.
Okay, no problem.
You know, when we return, we're going to be talking about the money part of this.
Okay.
You know, what's the financial involvement and the ROI that you just mentioned, and so that the viewers can know whether there's a really big opportunity there. Even the medical guys can know.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank
All right. We've been watching Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga, and on the mic has been Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere, who is the COO of Sports Assist and Citron Health. We're going to take a short break. When we return, the business continues. Welcome back to the program Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga, and you're watching Plus TV Africa. We're reaching you live from our studios in Victoria Island, Lagos. With me in the studio discussing sports medicine is the young and dynamic Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere. He's the CEO and CEO of Sports Assist and Citron Health. Yeah. All right. That's been, I've struggled with that all programs. Anyways, yeah, you're talking about all of these things that you guys do. Yeah. Let's take a typical match scenario.
Okay.
You're going to have an event today, yeah? What does your company deploy? You know, what services can you provide for the organizers? And what's the pricing like, you know, for you to be...
So one of the very first thing when you reach out, we try as much as possible not to take immediate. So we can do an immediate call out, but obviously an immediate call out is always more expensive.
What's an immediate call out?
Like you need us in the next 30 minutes,
okay,
and you call us. We'll attend to you, and we'll still make sure that nothing missing. But one of the things that we do diligently is that when you call us, maybe for example, you want us to come and cover a game, like a competition, we try as much as possible to also look at down to even the field. Is there a ditch? Is the field layered? Yeah. So we let people know that, okay, beyond that, this is a major problem for players, right? And it will cause a lot of issues beyond just like even the players having contact with themselves. So after that, what we do also is, okay, the fitness test I said that we do is a must. We don't joke with the fitness test because the people that are going to come and like kind of cater to, right? If it's a competition, if it's a team, we have the data before we start anything. We have all their baselines. Is a must. We have all the baselines down to even the blood group, the genotype. Now the blood group, because if there's a case of any cut or an open fracture in the game of in the field of play, right? We know okay, we can easily say, oh, this person's data, this is the blood group, this is the blood the person will need. So even when we are taking to a referral hospital that can manage that case, because not hospitals that can manage a particular case. So number one thing that we also do, another thing that we do is that we do a surveillance around the stadium or the field of play, right? To know which referral hospital can handle that is the closest. That can handle fractures. Because we manage AKO, African knockout, which is a different kind of sport. That one is, there's a whole lot of boxing.
Boxing and
yes, we do. And one of those we do is look for the closest hospital that can manage tertiary cases like fractures and all of those things. Then when we have the blood group, which we would have done before, we have the data, we can easily say, oh, this person might need this blood. So it doesn't become a problem for the individual that maybe might not be able to talk, because sometimes people go unconscious and we move them. We move unconscious people now, concussion, anything can happen.
So you need to have their medical history, so to speak.
Yes.
Their medical.
So if it's a competition, whoever the representative of the team or whoever the team's doctor or physiotherapist will be, we'll try and get the person to come along. But if it's a thing that we are the ones managing awesomely, we would have had that. We have the details.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? And we can easily shoot the details, like since we already have it. But in cases whereby they just call us, just provide the services on spot, we are not going to have the full details, then we get someone to come. So on a rough day, if you are telling us about a competition, for a competition, let's say per day, right? If there's an ambulance, we are coming with the ambulance and the full team, we are going to be looking at something like maybe, depending on the hours to during the day and the location. Right. If we are traveling, logistics needs to be handled, then we can do maybe around 150, 200, 250. That's the range. Obviously, we are negotiable and we try as much as possible to be affordable, right? But not also lower the standard of the profession. Yes, because people tend to abuse it and say, oh, it's not just, oh, we can just get the Red Cross. The Red Cross is a responder. No insult them. They're just first responders. They might not understand because we have had, for example, at one of the African knockout games, there was a blow to someone's mouth and the person had a jaw fracture. So so you want a Red Cross person to manage a jaw fracture. So what we had to do was move immediately to the hospital, do the whole investigation, give the report to the team. So as an organizer, or you are not bothering yourself about the intricate whatever. Another one I remember was at Lagos Polo. Amazing game, top game, beautiful game. But one of the possible hazard is that you can have injuries. So ball met one of the players' eyes close to his socket like this, and we had to transfer, like stop the bleeding, arrest the bleeding, get him out of the whatever immediately with the ambulance, take him to the nearest hospital that he mentioned around that line, got him everything that he needs to get, hand over to the hospital, and we do that follow-up. Because another thing that we do is follow-up. Because the post is very... So another thing about fractures, if you have possible fractures, is that there can be a malunion. That means that the bones didn't heal the way they're meant to heal. Okay. So, and for most of the time, either there's a shortening and you might not be able to recover to the game if there's a malunion. Yeah. So if there's a whole lot of intricate details in it, but our fee is like, let's say 150, 200, 250 per game, depending on the hours.
You know, I think even at that, I think you're really affordable.
Yes.
You know, because given what you have said, there's so much more that goes into what you do, and there's so much more that you should be compensated for.
Yes.
Yeah. But listening to you, what I feel like is that we need you guys in domestic sports.
Yes.
Because not a lot of that has happened.
Yeah.
I know, I'm a player in
the industry.
So a lot needs to be done. And to be honest, sports is just beginning to grow.
Yes.
Do you get? And even for the organizers, it is difficult. All right. So maybe what we need to do is to see how to play up guys like you, so that bodies like the NSC, even corporate sponsors who are thinking CSR can get in and support you guys what you're doing, because do we need this service? We really do.
So let
okay. Somebody died recently, a boxer, and I was watching the video, and this guy slumped without being hit.
I saw the video.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe if he's talking to guys like, I don't know, maybe he was. Things would always happen, but maybe this could have been prevented if he was.
So we analyze that video, because when we see cases like that, we sit down and we do like a in-house presentation, because that's one of the best ways to learn. And we analyze and we saw, because my Dr. Fikun, my CEO, we saw the what could be the possible thing. Now there's what they call differentials. Differentials mean that the possible cause of death. But different things can be the possible cause of death. Can be is an hypertensive person. It can be concussion. It can be what they call it. It can be concussion. Yeah. It can be seizure. Yeah. So we're looking more or less the direction of seizure. Okay. Because there was a vibration.
Okay. What would cause the seizure?
A lot of things can cause seizure, right? And that's why we say that the pre is as important as the during, right? So I can't pinpoint from just a video, or we can't pinpoint from just a video what could cause that possible seizure, right? It could be ranging high blood pressure, that then it could be maybe substance, maybe he took something that just to boost his energy, right? And everything is just working. So a lot of factors. And we're talking about, I wanted to chip in something, and the beautiful thing is that even kids, we take care of kids. We have academies like Jumbo Giants and Lagos Soccer Stars, whereby we have young kids that are playing football, ages 8 to maybe 16, and we take care of them. The other one I also remember that I said wanted to chip in was this Giant, I don't know if you know Giants of Africa or something, is a NGO for basketball that they build courts around Lagos. And when Prince Harry came, we had
the NBA thing.
Yes, the NBA thing. Okay. And the reason I'm mentioning this is whenever maybe you have NBA listeners, I've been trying to get across to Gbemi Ado, and I'm using like this opportunity to say that Gbemi, please, can we secure a visit or a meeting with you? Because yes, Abdudu. Yes, that's the vice president or president of NBA Africa. Yes. So we have been trying to secure a possible meeting whereby we can tell her, at the last FIBA pre-qualifiers Olympic Games for Nigeria at Echo Hotel, we covered it alongside with the doctor that was sent from FIBA. So we had that experience and we know what to do. Because one of the things about the slum, one very painful one that I know of is this popular Instagram influencer, may he so rest in peace, Afobaje, very top guy, cool guy, and he slummed while playing football, one of the toughs on the island. And it was so painful because I'm not saying that if we were there we would have saved him, but if we were there, there's a tendency we could have done something, because none of our adult games, we have AEDs, that's automated external defibrillators, that we take to all adult games, is a must in like our medics bag, is a must. Because what we notice is that AED so we take the emergency room to you. So beyond the whole pre, during and post games, we take the emergency room to you. And that's why sometimes we tell people, get the ambulance alongside. Although we would have provided something that can do the whole AED and the oxygen tank in case people need oxygen and all of those things. But we tell people that get the ambulance along with you, right? This helps generally. So in case, because you don't know who is who I don't know what people are battling with.
Yeah.
So I think that's just, hopefully from this people get enough insight and see that it's not just because we want to make money. Yeah, that's the
that's important.
That's the, because we need to make money too, but beyond the money, honestly, beyond the money, there's more to life than beyond the money.
Okay, see, when I see somebody like you, and this is what I bring the program home now, and it's a passion point for me. When I see young Nigerians today, I wonder whether you guys understand the industry in sports. You know, the industry around sports. Do you get it? It's not just about 22 guys chasing a ball or 2 guys fighting in the ring. Or,
yes.
Do you know, there's so much more behind the scenes. The numbers going on,
yes.
the numbers game.
Yes.
You know? Organizers are cranking numbers. Guys like you, suppliers or providers, you're cranking numbers. It's all, it's business. Sports is business. So when I see young people in Nigeria, they're here talking, oh, Manchester United, Arsenal, PSG, whatever. I said to myself, you guys, you're wasting your numbers. You take your numbers, you give it to other leagues, other people, you help them make money because they're converting your numbers.
The streaming alone.
They're converting your numbers to cash, right? And when they do this, organizations like yours suffer. Can you imagine what business you can be doing at this point in time if, you know, the MPFL is as successful, for instance, even as the PSL in South Africa, and your clubs have money to pay you because what you're doing requires that you're paid well.
Yes.
All right. But you need to support the game. So you too, you have to be an ambassador for the league.
Yes.
Get all your young people that say,
I wish I go to almost all the home games for Inter Lagos, bit of Sporting. Remo is a little bit far, but I study Remo, like, so I try to get into the circles where the conversations are going.
You have to be an ambassador.
Yes, the local. Yes. So I think I just got my first local jersey from Inter Lagos. I'm looking to get more jerseys for the other teams. But the truth is that we are down 100%. It's not a case of whether you need to think about it. And that's why when it comes to Sporting, one of my very good guys that does this charity football games, Sustainable, Michael Yiga, and we have been supporting because it's a charity game. But we make sure that we support. That's how down we are to say, see, no matter what that is happening in this local football or local sports, we are ready to get our hands involved with you. So we want to be a player. We're not going to sit high up and think that someone to come and come and we know that there's money there. We know that it's getting to a point where things are changing. And we're ready to say that, see, no matter what, we're ready to put our weight behind all of this and to make sure that it is successful. That's just it.
Okay, on that note, Dr. Emmanuel.
I think I want to just chip in something. And NSC is doing a good job because there's a sports medicine department actually under NSC. And the sports medicine department covers 4 things. And that's why I just want to chip in the clinical services, the physiotherapy and rehabilitation, the doping and pharmaceutical and doping. It's doping I want to talk about. Now, there are some medications that people might be taking, right? And I want to say, don't abuse medications as an athlete or a sport person. You should be more careful of what you put inside as a sport person. Because when you put inside may have steroids, and you don't know.
And it could lead to your death.
Apart from even death, it's going to come as positive when they test you. And that's why for us, we got the certificate for medical college, medical officer for drug and alcohol testing. Because we understand that players tend to make mistakes. And it's urine. They use different specimen. They use urine. They use saliva. So let get left of that. But no problem.
It's been a very interesting session.
Yes.
Emmanuel, I'll bring you back again because this is just the beginning.
Yes.
There's a lot we still need to do.
No problem.
To promote sports medicine and to promote the entire domestic sports industry as well. All right. And so that's been our program for today. We've been talking to Dr. Emmanuel Olowookere, CEO, Sports Assist and Citron Health. I'm of course Orufuo Ezaga, your host, your regular host, and we'll be back again next week when I'll be bringing you another big guest. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
You made it a very exciting.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So there you have it, viewers. Until we meet again next week, this is me, Orufuo Ezaga, saying be productive, be good, and stay safe.